Dark Horse Assassin, Rise of the Messiah, Chapter 1, April 3rd, 2002. Same day, Atlanta, Georgia. Like an Italian sports car, the black limo zipped in and out of Atlanta early afternoon traffic. No matter how tense the situation, Treble XR13 Frazier was trained to stay calm. See, he had learned long ago that panicking in any situation did not produce any quicker results. As a matter of fact, it often hindered progress. That's why America's most skilled CIA specialist filed his nails while silently singing the Earth, Wind & Fire classic, Reasons. Treble dropped the nail file before checking his Movado. 2:23 p.m. His flight departed at 3:15 p.m. He would have to do a Flash Gordon if he was going to make the flight. He reached down to his left and pulled his briefcase onto his lap. There, he opened and removed 2 metal rods with 4 half-dollar size wheels attached. A few minutes later, the Middle Eastern limo driver slammed on brakes in front of the Delta South Terminal. Treble reached inside his powder blue double-breasted tailored suit jacket and pulled out a money clip full of endless $100 bills. Shukran, Aki. Treble thanked the driver in his native Arabic language while peeling a $100 bill from his platinum money clip. Afwan, Aki, the driver replied. Gate agents, passengers, shuttle bus drivers, taxi drivers, everyone outside of the Atlanta's airport South Terminal was focused on the long and slender, elegantly dressed black man rolling to the airport sliding doors on what appeared to be supercharged motorized rollerblades. Treble Frazier could easily pass for an Olympic athlete. Built like a professional sprinter, Treble was in better shape than most professional athletes half his age. He had never eaten processed foods, pork, or red meat. For 45 of his 55 years, he'd exercised his body and mind tirelessly for hours every day. The main difference in Treble's training and the training regimens for professional athletes was one thing: the motivation. Although athletes are highly motivated to train for their sport, people like Treble are motivated in ways that athletes would never be. Athletes often regroup and train harder when they lose to the competition. The loser in Treble's profession didn't live to train another day. You see, there can be no stronger motivation than competing for your own mortality. While racing toward the gate, Treble pulled out the cell phone he'd not long ago purchased and dialed the number of the man's home he just left, the Reverend Dr. Joy Boyce. Hello? Rev, finished installing the infrared barrier around my estate already, Treble? No, I have to get home. I have a situation. Oh, okay, give me a minute. I'm walking out of the convention hall. London is so beautiful this time of year, Dr. Boyce said. Okay, I'm outside. Treble began. 7 months ago, right before 9/11, they searched Malia's, Hattie Mae's, and my apartment in D.C., Frisco, and Chicago. Hattie Mae went missing around this time. And why are you just now telling me this? You didn't need to know until now. You didn't think that your mother being abducted elicited a phone call? I never said she was abducted. If you can't find your mother, then she's been abducted. Can you feel her energy, Treble? No. She's gone? Dr. Boyce's statement came out as a question. Yes, she's gone. That's why I didn't call. Before I knew she was missing, I felt her life force leave my body. There was nothing you or any of the others could have done. By acting against my bosses, I'd only alert them that I knew that they were the enemy. You sure it was the agency? If it wasn't them, it was another faction. At the end of the day, they must all be destroyed. Lord, 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 Hattie Mae was a phenomenal woman, the Reverend said. I am so sorry, Treble. I am too. Well, any intel to corroborate your theory. While reviewing and analyzing footage from the hidden surveillance cameras at the apartment in Indianapolis, I saw Hattie Mae going through my pants pockets before preparing my clothes to go to the cleaners one day. She found a thumb drive, and that must have been it. And it must have been defective because I deleted its contents. I know I did. I deleted all the contents from everything, but for some reason, the deletion did not fully take, I later found out. So, Hattie Mae accessed the content. Yeah, on one of my laptops. Okay, now let me get this straight. Almost 7 months ago, less than 2 weeks before the towers went down, your mother found and accessed a thumb drive on one of your laptop computers in the high-rise apartment downtown on Meridian. The contents on this thumb drive were partially deleted. That's right. And how soon did Hattie Mae come up missing after she accessed the content? It was within a couple hours. And how can you be so sure of the timeline that she went missing? I had and still have surveillance on my handler. You what? Oh my, you got surveillance on the director of the CIA? Yeah, and others. Oh my gosh, trouble. Well, look, listen, as soon as Hattie Mae accessed the drive, I knew. Unfortunately, I had to act as if I didn't, so I wouldn't arouse suspicion. So, you have surveillance showing that Hattie Mae was picked up? No, she was not on my property or at her house. They probably grabbed her out in the open. What exactly was on the jump drive? Originally, it was a conversation between Director Bush and I. I was being given an assignment to take out Jihad Umoja, the famous author activist. The CIA felt that due to Mr. Umoja's popularity and because of the too close to home content in his books, that he would give the government problems after we orchestrated the national and international Muslim fear campaign. The only thing that was left on the thumb drive was the director thanking me for my service. No. If you correct, God rest her soul, they tortured your mama. She didn't deserve that. I know, Rev. I know. And since her disappearance, I stepped up my surveillance efforts on some and pulled back on others. I'm calling you now because all hell is going to break loose very shortly. You see, less than an hour ago, I received intel that the agency is going after Malia and my son. I'm headed back to Indianapolis now, Rev. If anything happens to me, I need... First, nothing's going to happen that you don't want to happen. And second, you don't have to ask me to do what I was born to do. You know I will raise him in the light. 2,000 years. Man, 2,000 years. You know, we've been preparing, praying, and training for this day, for this moment, for this time, for this event. Unfortunately, man, I may not physically live to see the outcome, but you must make sure Zion finishes what we started. Trevor, let me tell you something, boy. Before you were a twinkle in your daddy's eye, your destiny had been mapped out. You just didn't know what your role was until recently. Yeah, I thought, and you thought I was the Messiah. You and Baba even convinced me that I was the dark horse assassin. All those years living under the palace, training my body and mind to defeat the pale horse and his rider, I should be mad. Son, we never lied to you. We deceived you for your own good, Trouble, but we never, ever lied to you. We always knew who you were. The Reverend paused to allow his words to sink in. He continued, Zion is an extension of you, son. He is not just your son, but he's everyone's son, everyone's light. Just like he was when he was born in Bethlehem 2,000 years ago as Yeshua. Zion's success depends on you setting the stage like John the Baptist did Yeshua. You had to go through the burning sands just like Zion will have to. Whether it be in body or spirit, you have to help prepare him. You have to protect him by any and all means. The pale horse, son, will only get stronger. Old friend, do not worry. I will do my part as I have always done. You and Zion are the last descendants of Shango. Shango's soul and his blood runs through both of you. But it is Zion who was born to be the dark horse assassin. Trouble. You remember back in '65, right after Malcolm was assassinated? You know, we was in New York, right outside the Audubon Theater, and remember what you said to me? Remember what we said to each other? We vowed to make his dream a reality, vowed to make sure that his life was not in vain, and his fight was not in vain. Now that day is coming close. Yes, it is. It will be a long, arduous process, but tearing down the white, patriarchal, racist, capitalistic system and rebuilding it into a truly democratic, social American system of government will be well worth the blood that we've spilled and the blood that we have yet to spill. All rows for Flight 724 to Indianapolis are boarding now. The voice sounded over the airport's intercom. Rev, I heard, son, you be safe. You be safe. Don't worry about my end. The church is ready. If you need anything, I know. And Rev, yes, I love you. I love you too, Trouble. Now get home to your woman and get that boy. Shit. Trouble disconnected and looked at his watch. 3 o'clock. Zion got out of school at 3:05. Malia would be home waiting. He pressed 1 on his speed dial. Boarding pass? An airport attendant asked as he made his way up to the gate. His undivided attention was on the ringing cell phone he had to his ear. Sir, I need your boarding pass, she requested again. Uno momento, he said while holding up a finger. He reached inside his Hugo Boss suit jacket pocket and felt his other cell phone along with his boarding pass. That's when he remembered that his 10-year-old wouldn't answer a number that was not programmed into his cell phone. He replaced the untraceable throwaway minute phone with his personal cell. Thank you. Have a nice day. And have a nice flight, Mr. Rodriguez, the attendant said, using the name that was on Trouble's passport and boarding pass. Being light-skinned with wavy, strong, straight, long black hair, Trouble could pass for a multitude of different ethnic groups. Trouble was taking a huge risk pulling out his regular cell phone and putting the battery back in it. The CIA could and would be tracking him, but he had no alternative. Zion would not answer a call from an unknown number. While walking down the corridor to the plane, Trouble called his son.